We are now halfway spring and every Belgian knows the white asparagus season is as fleeting as it is delicious. I'm going to show 2 ways on how to prepare a creamy white asparagus soup. First, a fresh, straightforward cream of asparagus soup, and second, a way for enjoying that same rich flavor all year round, even when the season is long over. I managed to find these white asparagus on sale, the perfect excuse for a large pot of soup. I start by prepping my aromatics, 2 small onions, peeled and roughly chopped. For the asparagus, I'm selecting about 6 of the best stalks to use as a garnish. I peel them thoroughly, the outer skin is quite fibrous. I cut them diagonally into smaller pieces. Here you can see why they were on sale. A lot of them were not straight or quite thin. I cut them into rough pieces for the base of the soup. At this point I realized the best part of the asparagus is always the tip. I really should have just cut off the tips for the garnish. Ah well, there's always a next time. In a large pot, I melt a lump of butter and saute the onions until they are translucent. In go the asparagus pieces, followed by some homemade chicken stock. If you want to learn how to make your own stock, I left a link in the video description. I add a bit of extra water to submerge everything and season with salt, white pepper and 2 small bay leaves. I let this simmer for about 30 minutes until the vegetables are tender. After 30 minutes, I remove the bay leaves and blend my soup. Now a crucial step, because whole asparagus are so fibrous, you must strain the soup. If you don't, you will be picking fibers out of your mouth, which is not a pleasant eating experience. I use my immersion blender to pass the soup through a sieve. If you keep making up and down motions with the blender while pushing it through the sieve, it goes through with very little effort. You can also use a ladle, but this approach is 0 effort. To finish, I add 200 grams of heavy cream and my reserved asparagus garnish. I let it cook for another 2 to 3 minutes. A final check for seasoning and Belgian Spring is ready to be plated. Traditionally, the white asparagus season ends on June 24, the feast of Saint Jan. After that, the Belgian white asparagus disappears from our markets. So how do you enjoy this flavor in the middle of winter? Well, every time I boil fresh asparagus during the season, I also boil the peels for about 10 minutes. I strain that liquid and freeze it. It is an intense asparagus stock that has pure asparagus flavor. To make soup without fresh asparagus, I start again with 2 small onions. But because I lack the bulk of the fresh vegetables, I need a filler. And I'm using potatoes. They provide a beautiful thickness to the soup without adding too much of their own flavor. I saute the onions in butter and add the still somewhat frozen asparagus stock along with the diced potatoes. since all the flavor has to come from the stock, I do not use any chicken stock. Instead, I use a bit of chicken stock paste for depth. I also add again some white pepper and a bay leaf. After 30 minutes of softly boiling, I blend everything together. Oops, almost forgot to remove the bay leaf. This time there's no need for straining, as the potatoes and onion blend perfectly smooth. I again add 200 grams of heavy cream and bring up my soup for a short boil. For the garnish, I'm using canned asparagus. In Belgium you can find these all year round. I drain them and cut the asparagus into bite-sized pieces. Because these are already quite soft from the canning process, I just add them to the hot soup at the very end. There's no need to boil them any further. 2 recipes, one unmistakable flavor. Whether it is fresh from the field or from the freezer, this is Belgian Spring on a plate. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Enjoy!